Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope you're doing well. In this video, I want to share with you a possible syllabus for al-Balaghah. Al-Balāghah is an absolutely essential science and knowledge in the broader spectrum of al-Lugha or the Arabic sciences. And this is essential for a person who wants to understand the nusus of Sharia, meaning Qur'an and hadīth. Without al-Balāghah, you lose the spirit of Qur'an and hadīth, meaning you cannot understand the beauty and eloquence of Qur'an and hadīth without al-Balāghah. So this science is very sharif, it's very noble. It is typically studied after grammar and etymology, nahw and sarf. And in general, about 2 or 3 books are studied in the madaris for al-Balāghah. Generally speaking, some suffice on 1, some suffice with 2 books, etc., etc. And the most that I have seen in the most, in the common modern madaris, if you have experienced something else, please let me know, is going to be 3 different books, and I'll let you know, inshallah, in this video. I spoke about al-Balāghah a little bit in another video, inshallah. I'll link that for you guys. You can check it out. But essentially, al-Balāghah is a field that is comprised of 3 other fields. So, al-Balāghah is the name of maʿānī, bayān, and badīʿ. Maʿānī goes into sentence structures, examines when you have such a structure of a sentence, what can the meanings be, when is something to be taken in the literal sense, in the metaphorical sense. I'm not talking about haqiqah and majaz, that's going to be ilm al-bayan, but in the sense, like let's say questions. When do you understand the question to be a literal question versus a rhetorical question, and many other things. What is the benefit of a jumla fi'liya versus a jumla ismiya, and many other beautiful funun. When do you omit something? When do you mention something? When do you put something forward? When do you decide to put it in the back? What changes in the meaning occur due to all of this? So the way I look at it is sentence structure and the benefit of why a sentence is structured that way. Ilmul Bayan is going to be the science that discusses literary devices in the sense of metaphors, similes, comparisons. And it's a very beautiful science, actually my favorite out of the 3, whilst I acknowledge that ilmul ma'ani is probably the most important. Finally, ilmul badīʿ discusses beautiful aspects of the language. So things that a person does, and I guess you could call this literary devices, where a person perhaps makes their words rhyme, or they use a specific idiom here or there. So that will be found in ilmul badīʿ. So these 3 fields are comprised in ilmul Balāghah. And of course, the Qur'an is a literary miracle from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the primary mu'jiza and miracle of the Qur'an. The i'jaz of Qur'an, if you look at books of i'jaz al-Qur'an, it talks about these aspects of Balāghah. Nahw sarf is just to get you up to Balāghah essentially. So anyway, here's a proposed syllabus going from simple all the way up to high level. And then there are many books after what I'm proposing here. But if a person studies all of these with mashayikh, inshallah, it'll be kafi for them. And then the doors open up for many different things. I'm still in the process. Some of these books I've taught, some I am studying. But this first and foremost is a syllabus for myself, and anyone who would like to follow, they may do so. And some people have probably already studied all of this and much more. Firstly, I'd like to start with Safīnat al-Bulaghā. I discussed this book in a separate video, just this book. What I like about this book is it's very simple. It gives you a lot of exercises. Not many of the books of Balāghah give you exercises. More of the contemporary works, they do so because it's not very easy to apply just the theory. So if you're just studying theory, it gets kind of difficult. So this book is good because it's very simple, straight to the point, gives you the exercises, give you reading comprehension, questions, etc. This is a great place to start. So this could be a step 1, first introduction to Balāghah for a student. And some may even say that you can have a different introduction, even simpler than this, but this is fine to be an introduction, inshallah. I am currently, alhamdulillah, teaching this book, and I am enjoying the journey. The second book is basically what Safīnat al-Bulaghā is like summarizing from. If you look at the book itself, Safīnat al-Bulaghā, and then compare it to this book that I'm going to show you, you will see sometimes the verbatim texts. So you can tell they're taken from this. And that is Durūs al-Balāghah. Durūs al-Balāghah. Written by 4 different shuyukh. And these 4 shuyukh, or at least some of them, are the same authors who compiled the next book that I'm going to talk about as well. But this is considered kind of a khulasa and a summary of the next book that I'm going to talk about. Durūs al-Balāghah is really nice. It's straight to the point. Literally, like, there is no fluff. In this book, there's no fluff. They give you examples, but there's no, tamareen and exercises. It's, as I mentioned, straight to the point. But as you can see, plenty of examples. Alhamdulillah, I've taught this book before. As you can see here, like all the translation, etc. I have a sharh for this, and that sharh I used is really good for students. So there are different types of shuruh. Some commentaries, they what they do is fakkul ibara, meaning they open up the text for you. And this sharh that I'm speaking of, I didn't find it, otherwise I would have featured it here. It is written by Shaykha Kamila al-Kuwari, and it's called Afnanu Siyagha. So I found that to be very beneficial. She just focuses specifically on what's mentioned in here and just opens up the text for you. So if you really just are kind of stuck on a particular sentence and are unsure what it means, you can use that. Many of the editions of Durūs al-Balāghah have a commentary called Shumūs al-Barā'ah. That also helps. This one doesn't have it. I have a different edition of Durūs al-Balāghah which has Shumūs al-Barā'ah in it. This is just the text, and as you can see, it's extremely thin, but it's, don't let the size fool you. It's jam-packed with information. So this could be a step 2 to a student in Balāghah, and ideally these 2 can be studied in the same year. In 1 year with the ustadh, these can be covered together. Then, even this 3rd book can be studied, or parts of it, because this 3rd book would probably take a whole year to finish. And actually, from my experience, this is the one that we studied when we were in madrasa, and I actually loved this book. It's so good, mashallah, because of the exercises, the simplicity, but the detail as well, and the intiqa, like how these authors chose different poems, they chose different excerpts from Arabic literature, and they bring it in those examples and the tamareen and exercises. I don't think anyone else has done a better job so far from the amount that I've seen, and that is al-Balāghah al-Wāḍiḥah. So this is what we studied in the madrasa I studied at, Darul Ulum Zakariya, al-Balāghah al-Wāḍiḥah. And this is studied in the 4th year out of 7 years. The course is 7 years, so in the 4th year we study al-Balāghah al-Wāḍiḥah. So alhamdulillah, I had the opportunity of teaching this book as well. I studied it, and it was probably my favorite book, top 3 in the entire Dars Nizami. And alhamdulillah, subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me the tawfiq to also teach this book cover to cover. And we finished this. It's an excellent book. And this edition I really like. This edition I'll have to do a separate video on just, each one of these books. But charts, right? And you have, I'll talk about it in another video, how the book is set up, but it's just beautifully laid out. And a lot of exercise. Many different things. These are all exercises here. All of these. So what this does is it strengthens the student, because now you're doing deeper exercises. You get some of that in Safīnat al-Bulaghā, but not to the degree found in this book. And as you can see, it's quite thick here, much thicker. And it's just excellent work. I think a student who has studied these 3 books, they're ready to go into the higher level ilm al-Balāghah, meaning going back to the more classical works. These are more contemporary. So now going into, and I actually have a different edition, just want to share. This is also al-Balāghah al-Wāḍiḥah, Durūs Samman. I actually like the one that I just showed you more, but this one I bought a different edition, hoping that there might be some extra fawaid. I haven't checked it out and haven't used it, but yeah, different edition, same book, al-Balāghah al-Wāḍiḥah. So excellent book. Many madaris use this book, and I highly recommend it. Now after that, so many madaris stop here. This is where they stop. They got the introductory and they got al-Balāghah al-Wāḍiḥah. That's it. Some madaris go to a classic in al-Balāghah, and those of you who have studied, of course, know this work of al-Imam al-Khatib al-Qazwini, Talkhīṣ al-Miftāḥ. Talkhīṣ al-Miftāḥ. So in the history of Balāghah, you have the original works, the original sources. Then al-Imam al-Jurjani came, Abdul Qahir, and he wrote his two very famous books in al-Balāghah, and then that was summarized by Imam al-Sakkaki in Miftāḥ al-Ulūm, and then this Imam here, Imam Khatib al-Qazwini, he then takes from Miftāḥ al-Ulūm of Sakkaki and does Talkhīṣ al-Miftāḥ, where he just highlights ilm al-Balāghah. So this is an absolute classic, and this edition is just really nice. I got this recently, Darul Lubab, from Sifa to Safa, those of you who want to get an edition like this. It has a nice hashia. I believe this is the best edition so far, most muhaqqaq, and excellent hawashi. Just look at it, beautiful. This is just the matan, Talkhīṣ al-Miftāḥ. So I'm not sure of any madaris that teach just Talkhīṣ al-Miftāḥ. Usually they will teach the sharh of Talkhīṣ al-Miftāḥ. There's many shuruh of Talkhīṣ al-Miftāḥ. Imam Khatib al-Qazwini himself has a sharh, al-Iḍāḥ. This is the author who wrote Talkhīṣ al-Miftāḥ. He has his own sharh called al-Iḍāḥ. And same Darul Lubab, same muhaqqiq, has printed this edition as well. Really beautiful. Yeah, so many madaris, they teach the sharh, which is going to be that of al-Imam al-Taftazani. And it's just known as, in some places, Mukhtasar al-Maʿānī, or, al-Mukhtasar al-Saghīr, and then he has a Kabir version. I have both of those, but I'm not going to show that in this video because this is just to get you to, basically, to this level, Talkhīṣ al-Miftāḥ. There's much more after this, right? So in a part 2, I will go over higher level ilm al-Balāghah for myself, what I want to study, inshallah, and I believe that I'm capable at this time to just put in that time and start studying on my own. I'll do that in a part 2. But this is for beginners in ilm al-Balāghah, kind of the sullam and the steps to get to the position where you now have a good command, inshallah, of ilm al-Balāghah, and what's kind of expected from a good student from a dars nizami curriculum. After this, of course, there's much more. The studying never ceases, and I'll do that in a part 2. Jazakallahu khairan. I hope you benefited from this video. Consider subscribing, share the video, like, and comment. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.